I know this sounds unconventional, perhaps even strange at first, but stay with me here, because what you're about to discover has been hidden in plain sight for centuries, and it could completely transform your relationship with money starting December 28th. Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the most influential metaphysical teachers of the 20th century, understood something profound about the human experience. She taught that we will continue to struggle financially until we impress upon our subconscious mind the absolute conviction that we are meant for success. And here's the fascinating part. Your hands play a far more critical role in this process than you ever imagined. Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others work twice as hard yet struggle to make ends meet? What if I told you the answer isn't in your bank account, your education, or even your work ethic, but right there, in the palms of your hands? Yes, your hands. Those very instruments you use every single day might be unconsciously repelling the abundance you've been desperately seeking. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Think about your typical day for just a moment. From the instant you wake up until you fall asleep at night, your hands are in constant motion. You touch your phone, you handle money, you shake hands with colleagues, you open doors, you prepare food, you work at your computer. Has this ever happened to you? You feel like you're doing everything right, yet prosperity seems to slip through your fingers like water? There's a reason for that, and it's not what you think. Every single interaction, every surface you touch, every exchange you make, throughout the day leaves an energetic imprint on your hands. Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us that every great accomplishment in history was first brought into manifestation through holding firmly to a vision. But here's what most people don't realize. When your hands become saturated with negative energy, fear, scarcity, and stress, they create an invisible barrier that actually clouds your vision and blocks the very abundance you're trying to attract. Your hands aren't just physical tools. They're energetic gateways, powerful transmitters and receivers that are constantly communicating with the universe. When these gateways become clogged with the accumulated weight of worry, doubt, and financial anxiety, they start broadcasting the wrong frequency entirely. Instead of signaling to the universe, "I am open and ready to receive," they're unconsciously declaring, "I am blocked, I am struggling, I am closed." What you're about to discover might surprise you, because the solution is remarkably simple, and it involves something you probably have sitting in your kitchen right now. On December 28th, you have an extraordinary opportunity to reset these energetic gateways and transform your hands from money repellents into powerful abundance magnets. But the timing matters, the method matters, and most importantly, understanding the spiritual mechanics behind why this works. Now I want to go even deeper into this truth, because the transformation that's possible here goes far beyond anything you've tried before. The ingredient I'm talking about is something so ordinary, so unassuming, that you've probably walked past it 100 times without giving it a second thought. It's sitting there in your kitchen cupboard right now, waiting to become the catalyst for your financial breakthrough. We're talking about salt. Yes, common salt. But this isn't about cooking or seasoning your food. This is about understanding a hidden truth that ancient wisdom keepers and modern metaphysical teachers like Florence Scovel Shinn have known for generations. Shinn was absolutely clear about this universal principle when she wrote that the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take, it all comes back to you with astounding accuracy. Think about the implications of that for just a moment. If your hands are constantly absorbing stress, scarcity, and financial anxiety, what kind of boomerang are you throwing out? Into the universe? What's coming back to you? This is where the real mindset shift happens, where the journey from struggle to abundance truly begins. The ritual we're going to explore isn't some random folk tradition passed down without reason. There's profound spiritual mechanics at work here, and the precision matters enormously, It's not just about washing your hands with salt water and hoping for the best. The how, the when, the intention behind every movement. These details are what activate the money magnet within you. December 28th represents a powerful threshold moment, a behind-the-scenes convergence of energy that most people completely miss. You're positioning yourself just before the new year, clearing away the old energetic debris, making space for fresh abundance to flow. I create content like this regularly, exploring the spiritual principles and practical techniques that genuinely transform lives. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the channel so these insights keep finding you when you need them most. But here's what separates those who experience real impact from those who try this and see nothing change. It's the quality of your intention. Faith, as Shinn taught, isn't about hoping or wishing. Real faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. When you declare with your whole being that your hands are now channels for wealth, you're not asking permission from the universe. You're making a decision, claiming what's already yours. By divine right. This is your first genuine act of faith, and it sets everything else in motion. The revelations that come from this practice often surprise people because the shifts happen on multiple levels simultaneously. Some notice immediate external changes, unexpected money showing up, new opportunities appearing out of nowhere. Others experience the transformation internally first, a fundamental shift in how they relate to money, a dissolving of old fear patterns that have been running their financial decisions for years. If this is resonating with you right now, write in the comments, "My hands are ready." Let that declaration mark this moment as the beginning of your new financial reality. Let me share something that might completely shift how you see your own hands from this moment forward. In ancient feng shui practice and across countless spiritual traditions spanning thousands of years, hands have always been recognized as something far more significant than mere physical appendages. They're energetic gateways, portals through which life force flows in both directions. Everything you give to the world passes through these gateways, and everything you receive comes through them as well. When these channels become blocked, congested with the accumulated weight of stress and scarcity thinking, you literally cannot grasp the wealth that's trying to reach you. It's already there, waiting, but your hands have become closed doors instead of open channels. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this principle at the deepest level when she emphasized that you must live fully in the now to make your dreams come true. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, not when you finally have enough money. Right now, in this present moment, your energetic state is either attracting or repelling the abundance you seek. Your hands tell the truth about where you really are, regardless of what your mind might be saying. I want to tell you about someone whose journey illustrates this truth in the most powerful way. His name is Roberto, and for 20 years he ran a small repair shop. He was exceptional at his craft, truly dedicated, the kind of person who took pride in every single job. His customers loved him, his reputation was solid, and for 2 decades everything flowed smoothly. Then something shifted. The phone stopped ringing. At first, he thought it was just a slow week, then a slow month. But the silence continued. Bills started piling up on his desk, each one a reminder of mounting pressure. Roberto began losing sleep, lying awake at night gripped by terror about how he would pay rent, how he would feed his family. Here's what made Roberto's situation so revealing. He hadn't changed. He was working just as hard, his skills were just as sharp, his dedication unchanged. But the money had stopped flowing. This is the hidden truth that most people never understand about financial struggle. Effort alone, no matter how sincere, isn't enough. You can work yourself to exhaustion, sacrifice everything, do all the right things on the surface, and still watch abundance slip away. Why? Because without energetic alignment, without clear channels for prosperity to flow through, you're essentially trying to fill a bucket that has holes in the bottom. Roberto's transformation didn't begin with a new business strategy or working longer hours. It began when he discovered what was really blocking his financial flow, and the revelation changed everything about his relationship with money and success. If Roberto's story is touching something deep inside you right now, write in the comments, "I understand this struggle." What happened next in Roberto's journey reveals something most people never consider about the daily rituals we perform without awareness. In his desperation, Roberto reached out to a local healer, someone known in the community for understanding the unseen forces that shape our reality. This woman sat across from him, looked directly into his exhausted eyes, and asked one simple question that penetrated straight to the core of his situation. "When was the last time you cleaned your hands with real purpose?" Roberto was genuinely confused by this. He washed his hands constantly throughout the day. Working in a repair shop, his hands were always getting dirty, so soap and water were his constant companions. But the healer shook her head gently and explained something that would completely shift his understanding. She told him that washing and purifying are two entirely different actions. Physical soap removes physical dirt, yes, but it does nothing to address the energetic residue that accumulates on a completely different level. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the imaging faculty plays a leading part in the game of life, and Roberto's hands had become dense with images of failure, worry, and fear. Think about what this means for your own life. Every time Roberto touched his tools, every time he handled money, every transaction he made, he was unconsciously transferring that heavy energy of anxiety and scarcity. He wasn't just fixing appliances. He was coding everything he touched with the frequency of struggle. The healer could see it clearly, the way his hands had become broadcasting stations for lack rather than channels for abundance. This is the hidden truth behind why some people seem cursed with money, while others effortlessly attract it. It's not about worthiness or intelligence, or even hard work. It's about the energetic signature you're carrying and transmitting through every interaction. Shinn understood this principle perfectly when she declared that man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. Roberto's hands were telling a story of desperation, and the universe was simply matching that frequency with precision. His subconscious mind had impressed upon his entire being an image of financial struggle, and his hands were the primary instruments, broadcasting that message into the world. Every handshake, every exchange, every moment of contact was reinforcing the very pattern he desperately wanted to escape. The transformation available to Roberto, and to you, requires understanding this fundamental distinction between surface-level actions and deep energetic shifts. Physical cleanliness matters, of course, but without addressing the invisible layers of accumulated fear and limitation, you're only treating symptoms while the root cause continues to grow stronger beneath the surface. If you're beginning to see your own hands differently now, recognizing patterns you've never noticed before, write in the comments, "I'm ready to purify." The healer didn't waste time with complex explanations or esoteric theories. She showed Roberto a specific ritual using just two things: sea salt and water. The method was precise, deliberate, a way of scrubbing away the accumulated stress and fear while simultaneously activating his hands as channels for abundance. Roberto listened, but honestly, he was skeptical. Here he was, a practical man who worked with his hands fixing concrete, physical problems, being told that washing with salt water according to a specific technique would somehow change his financial situation. It sounded almost ridiculous. But when you're at rock bottom, when you've exhausted every logical solution and nothing has worked, you become willing to try things you would have dismissed just weeks earlier. That first night, something unexpected happened. Roberto performed the ritual exactly as the healer had instructed, and for the first time in months, he slept peacefully. Not the fitful, anxiety-ridden half-sleep he'd grown accustomed to, but deep, restorative rest. When he woke the next morning, before he'd even had his coffee, his phone rang. It was a former client he hadn't heard from in over a year, calling with a job offer, the biggest project Roberto had seen in years. The timing seemed impossible, almost magical. This is where the hidden truth about energy becomes undeniable. The shift happened so quickly because Roberto's hands, His primary tools of manifestation in the physical world had been reset to a completely different frequency overnight. What followed over the next several weeks was nothing short of miraculous, though perhaps miracle isn't the right word. When you understand how energy works, how the universe responds to the signals you're broadcasting, these results become entirely predictable. New opportunities kept appearing, one after another, as if some invisible dam had finally broken. Within 2 months, Roberto had not only cleared every single debt that had been suffocating him, but he actually had clients on a waiting list, something he'd never experienced even in his best years. Florence Scovel Shinn promised that the affirmations of the Christ consciousness will cleanse the subconscious of false ideas, and that's exactly what Roberto experienced. His hands had literally become channels for prosperity instead of blockages. The transformation wasn't just about the money flowing in, though that was certainly dramatic. Roberto described a fundamental shift in how he felt when he touched things, when he shook hands with clients, when he handled payment. There was a lightness, a sense of flow that had been completely absent before. He wasn't pushing or forcing anymore. He was simply allowing abundance to move through him. If you're feeling that shift of possibility opening up inside you right now, write in the comments, "Abundance is flowing to me." Roberto's own words capture the essence of this transformation in a way that's both simple and profound. He told me, "My hands feel brand new. It's like they've been reborn. Money flows toward me now instead of disappearing through my fingers." Think about what a radical shift that represents. For months he'd watched money slip away no matter how tightly he tried to hold on. And now, suddenly, the entire dynamic had reversed. This perfectly aligns with Florence Scovel Shinn's fundamental teaching that every person has within themselves the power to control their thoughts and to send out only the good and desirable. Roberto had unknowingly been broadcasting lack and fear through his hands, and once those channels were purified, he could finally transmit abundance instead. Now let me reveal something crucial about why salt, this humble ingredient sitting in your kitchen, carries such extraordinary spiritual power. For thousands of years, across virtually every culture and tradition on Earth, salt has been recognized as far more than a seasoning for food. It's actually a crystal, a naturally occurring mineral with profound energetic properties. Ancient healers understood what modern science is only beginning to validate, that salt has the capacity to neutralize negative vibrations and draw out heavy, stagnant energy that keeps you trapped in patterns of limitation. If something shifted for you during this video, if you felt that spark of recognition or possibility, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a simple gesture that helps this message reach others who are searching for exactly what you just discovered. Imagine your hands as a smartphone that's been running for months without ever being cleared. All those apps running in the background, all that accumulated digital clutter, all those temporary files clogging up the system. Eventually, the phone becomes slow, glitchy, unresponsive. You press buttons and nothing happens the way it should. That's exactly what's occurring with your hands on an energetic level. Every worry, every financial stress, every moment of scarcity thinking leaves a residue. Salt acts like that reset button, clearing out all the invisible trash so your system can run smoothly again, responsive to your conscious intentions rather than weighted down by subconscious programming. The behind-the-scenes mechanism here is actually quite elegant. Salt crystals carry a specific molecular structure that naturally absorbs and neutralizes chaotic frequencies. When you use salt with deliberate intention, you're not just performing a symbolic act. You're engaging with real energetic mechanics that have been proven effective across millennia of human experience. The impact goes far deeper than surface cleaning, because you're addressing the root cause of energetic blockage rather than just treating symptoms. If the truth of what salt can do is clicking into place for you, write in the comments, "Salt is my reset button." Understanding your hands as energy antennas opens up an entirely new dimension of awareness about how you interact with the world. These aren't just physical tools you use to manipulate objects. They're sophisticated receivers and transmitters, constantly broadcasting your internal state and picking up signals from everything around you. Every single thing you give to the world passes through these portals, and everything you receive comes through them as well. When your antennas are covered in what we might call energetic dust, that accumulated debris of worry, scarcity consciousness, and fear, you literally cannot tune into the frequency where success and money exist. It's like trying to pick up a radio station when your antenna is wrapped in layers of interference. Florence Scovel Shinn had profound insight into this when she taught that intuition is a spiritual faculty that doesn't explain itself, but simply points the way. Your hands, when they're clear and functioning as they should, become instruments of that intuition. They know where to reach, what to touch, which opportunities to grasp. But when they're clogged with negative programming, that natural guidance system gets jammed. You miss the signals, overlook the opportunities, and unconsciously push away the very things you're seeking. This is where water enters the equation in a way most people never consider. Water isn't just a neutral substance for cleaning. It's one of nature's most powerful conductors of energy and intention. Scientists have demonstrated that water can hold information, that its molecular structure responds to vibration and thought. When you combine salt's purifying crystalline properties with water's conductive capacity, and then add your own focused intention into the mix, you create something far more potent than the sum of its parts. You're essentially building a spiritual technology right there in your hands. Shinn understood this principle of creative power when she declared that man's word is his wand filled with magic and power. Your intention, spoken with conviction and clarity, doesn't just float meaninglessly into the air, it literally restructures the energetic properties of the water you're using. You're not performing some mystical ritual hoping the universe might notice. You're engaging with precise spiritual mechanics, transforming ordinary tap water into a concentrated tool for rewiring your subconscious programming and clearing your energetic channels. The decision to engage with this process consciously, rather than just going through mechanical motions, is what separates those who experience genuine transformation from those who try once and wonder why nothing changed. If you're recognizing your hands as the powerful antennas they truly are, write in the comments, "My antennas are clearing now." The question of when to perform this ritual matters far more than you might initially think. Timing in spiritual work isn't arbitrary. It's about aligning yourself with the natural rhythms of energy that flow through our world. The absolute best time is early morning, right as the sun is beginning to rise. There's something profound that happens in those liminal moments when darkness transitions into light. The world's energy feels fresh, unburdened by the day's accumulated stress and chaos. It's like you're tapping into pure potential, new beginnings crystallized in that golden hour. If you've ever been awake at dawn, you know there's a quality to the silence, a sense of possibility that simply doesn't exist at any other time. Now, if waking before sunrise isn't realistic for your life situation, don't let that become an excuse to avoid this practice altogether. The key is finding a time when you're completely alone and unhurried. No children demanding attention, no partner asking questions, no phone notifications pulling at your awareness. You need those uninterrupted moments because this work requires your full presence. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that life presents us with what seems like complex problems, mathematical puzzles that feel impossible to solve, but when the answer is finally found, it's always amazingly simple. The simplicity, however, requires your undivided attention to recognize and implement. December 28th gives you a unique window of opportunity because you're positioned right at the threshold of a new year. You're clearing the old energetic patterns before fresh calendar energy rushes in, setting the foundation for 12 months of different results. This is strategic positioning, not random chance. Creating the right environment for this practice is equally crucial because your external space directly reflects and influences your internal state. Find a quiet spot in your home where you won't be disturbed. Your kitchen or bathroom both work perfectly. Before you begin the actual ritual, take a few minutes to tidy that space. Sweep the floor if it needs it, clear off the counter, put away clutter. This isn't about being obsessive or perfectionist. It's about recognizing that physical cleaning creates energetic clearing. You're literally making space, opening up room for new possibilities to enter. If you happen to have a white candle available, light it as you prepare. The flame represents illumination, a fresh path forward cutting through darkness. But if you don't have a candle, don't stress about it. The most powerful element in this entire process is your focused intention. External tools support the work, but your consciousness is what drives the transformation. If you're already envisioning the sacred space you'll create for this ritual, write in the comments, "My space is ready." Before you gather your materials and begin the physical practice, there's one critical element that determines whether this ritual becomes a genuine turning point or just another thing you tried once and forgot about. You must get absolutely crystal clear about what you actually want. This is where most people sabotage themselves without even realizing it. They approach abundance work with vague, fuzzy intentions like, "I want to be rich," or "I need more money." The universe doesn't respond to vagueness. It responds to precision, to clear images, to specific requests that carry emotional resonance and concrete detail. Sit with yourself for a moment and ask these exact questions. How much money do I actually need? Not some fantasy lottery amount, but the specific sum that would genuinely shift my circumstances right now. What will I use that money for? Be honest and detailed. Will it pay off a particular debt? Cover medical expenses? Allow you to finally take that trip? Create breathing room in your budget? And perhaps most importantly, how will you feel when that money arrives? What will peace feel like in your body? What will relief taste like? What will security sound like in the quality of your sleep? Florence Scovel Shinn taught something profound when she said that every person must live in the city they have built of their words. You are literally constructing your reality with the language you use, both spoken and internal. If your words are vague and non-committal, you're building a vague, non-committal reality. But when you speak with precision and conviction, you're laying down concrete foundations for manifestation. So instead of the weak statement, "I want more money," try something with real power behind it. "I am clearing my hands to allow money to flow freely so I can pay off my car loan and finally feel the peace of being debt-free." Feel the difference? That second statement has weight, specificity, emotion. It paints a clear picture the universe can work with. Shinn understood this principle of magnetic attraction when she declared that the thing you seek is actively seeking you. The telephone was seeking Alexander Graham Bell just as urgently as he was working to invent it. Your specific financial solution is already moving toward you, but it needs a clear signal to lock onto. This isn't just positive thinking or wishful hoping. This is about making a decision, a real internal commitment that shifts your entire energetic signature. The journey from where you are to where you want to be begins with this moment of crystalline clarity about your true desires and needs. If you're getting clear on your specific intention right now, write in the comments, "I know exactly what I need." Now let's talk about the actual materials you'll need, because even these seemingly simple choices carry significance in how energy moves through this practice. You'll want a bowl made of glass or ceramic. These natural materials allow energy to flow freely without interference. Avoid plastic if at all possible. Plastic is petroleum-based, synthetic, and it tends to block or distort the energetic frequencies you're working with. Think of it like the difference between listening to live music and hearing it through a cheap speaker with static. Glass and ceramic are transparent to spiritual energy. They don't impose their own vibration onto the process. Fill your chosen bowl about halfway with clean warm water, approximately the temperature you'd use for a relaxing bath. Not hot enough to be uncomfortable, but warm enough that it feels soothing and inviting to your hands. You'll also need 3 generous spoonfuls of sea salt or coarse salt. Regular table salt can work in a pinch, but sea salt is ideal because it carries the living energy of the ocean, that vast reservoir of primordial power. These aren't random preferences. They're principles that align with how universal laws actually operate. Natural materials resonate with natural energy, creating harmony rather than resistance. But here's where the real transformation begins. In a moment, most people rush right through without giving it proper attention. Before you pour that salt into the water, stop. Hold the salt in your hands first. Close your eyes and really feel it. Notice the texture, the weight, the coolness of the crystals against your palms. This is your moment to connect, to establish a relationship with this substance that's about to serve you. Imagine each grain as a tiny spark of pure light, millions of miniature cleansing agents ready to scrub away every obstacle standing between you and financial flow. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that thoughts and words form the matrix through which every person is manifesting their reality. This moment of connection with the salt isn't ceremonial fluff. It's you consciously programming the matrix, impressing your intention into the very substance you're about to use. The salt is neutral until you give it direction, until you infuse it with purpose. Your focused awareness transforms it from kitchen seasoning into a spiritual technology capable of genuine energetic clearing. The impact of this single moment of presence can be the difference between going through motions and experiencing actual breakthrough. If you're understanding the power of conscious connection with your materials, write in the comments, "I connect with intention." With your bowl positioned in front of you and filled halfway with warm water, you're ready for what I consider the most sacred moment of this entire practice. Take your salt and hold it close to your heart for a moment. Feel it there, resting against your chest where your heart beats steadily. Close your eyes and speak these words with absolute conviction. This salt cleans my energy and opens my life to abundance. Don't rush through this declaration. Let each word carry weight and meaning. Florence Scovel Shinn understood something most people miss, that words and thoughts are a tremendous vibratory force, not just sounds we make, but actual creative power shaping reality around us. When you speak that statement, you're not asking permission or expressing hope. You're declaring a truth, commanding your subconscious mind to accept this new reality. The vibration of your voice, combined with the intention behind your words, begins restructuring the energetic field around you before the salt even touches the water. This is the hidden truth behind all effective spiritual work. Consciousness precedes form, thought creates matter, intention shapes outcome. Now comes the activation, and this is where precision truly matters. Slowly drop the salt into the water, watching as the crystals dissolve and disperse. Don't just dump it in carelessly. Be deliberate, present, aware. Using your dominant hand, the hand you write with, the hand that carries your primary creative force, begin stirring the water in a clockwise direction. This isn't arbitrary. Clockwise motion has been recognized across countless spiritual traditions as the direction of growth, expansion, and manifestation. You're literally spiraling energy upward and outward, setting things in motion rather than dissolving them. As you stir, here's what separates transformation from empty ritual: visualization. See in your mind's eye a warm golden light beginning to fill the water. Not imagining it vaguely, but actually seeing it as clearly as if you'd dropped liquid gold into that bowl. Watch it swirl and spread with each rotation of your hand, charging the water with the frequency of success, prosperity, abundance. This golden light represents the highest vibration of wealth consciousness, and you're infusing every molecule of water with that energy. Your hand becomes the conductor, your intention the electricity, and the salt water the medium through which transformation will occur. The journey from ordinary tap water to spiritually charged elixir happens in these moments of focused awareness, and what you're creating here will literally rewire the energetic programming in your hands. If you can already feel the golden light filling your awareness, write in the comments, "Golden energy is activating." Now we arrive at the moment where theory transforms into practice, where intention becomes tangible action. Dip both of your hands into the water, fully submerging them. But here's what's crucial. Don't just let them soak passively, like you're waiting for something external to happen to you. This is where you take absolute ownership of your transformation. Scrub with real purpose and vigor. Rub your palms together as if you're washing away years of accumulated scarcity programming. Feel the salt crystals working between your skin, exfoliating not just physical cells, but energetic residue. Interlace your fingers and scrub thoroughly in those spaces between them. These areas are often neglected, but they're essential gateways where energy can get trapped and stagnant. Rub the back of each hand with attention and care. Then, and this is particularly important, slide your fingers from the base all the way to the tips with deliberate intention. You're not just cleaning the surface. You're clearing the entire channel, opening the pathway from your center out through your fingertips where you touch the world. As your hands move through this water, as you feel the salt doing its purifying work, this is when you speak your truth into existence. Say these exact words with total confidence, repeating them at least 3 times so they penetrate deep into your subconscious. I clean my hands. I clean my energy. I open the doors to the abundance I deserve. Money flows to me with ease and joy. Don't mumble this quietly or rush through it like an afterthought. Speak with conviction, with authority, with the absolute certainty that what you're declaring is already true on a spiritual level and is now manifesting into physical reality. Florence Scovel Shinn taught something that cuts through all spiritual bypassing when she said that faith without action is dead. You can have all the belief in the world, but if you're not physically engaging with the process, if you're not taking concrete action in the material realm, nothing shifts. This scrubbing, this speaking, this full-bodied participation, that's your faith made visible, your belief demonstrated through deliberate action. The universe doesn't respond to passive wishing. It responds to decisive movement backed by unwavering conviction. Every word you speak while your hands are in this charged water is programming your subconscious, rewiring the neural pathways that have kept you trapped in limitation, creating new patterns of receptivity to wealth and success. If you're feeling the power of combining word and action, write in the comments, "My faith is alive through action." While your hands continue moving through this charged salt water, while you're speaking those powerful declarations, there's another layer of work happening that amplifies everything exponentially. Engage your visualization faculty now with precision and clarity. See in your mind's eye a gray or dark mist beginning to seep out from your skin, emerging from your palms, your fingers, the backs of your hands. This mist represents every ounce of financial stress you've been carrying, every scarcity belief that's been lodged in your cellular memory, every moment of panic about bills or fear about the future. Watch this heavy, dense energy leave your body and dissolve into the salt water, neutralized instantly by the purifying properties of the salt. Don't imagine this vaguely. See it with the same clarity you'd see smoke rising from a candle flame. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote something profoundly important when she explained that the subconscious is simply power without direction, like steam or electricity. Your conscious mind is the director, the one giving shape and purpose to that raw power. Through this visualization, you're instructing your subconscious exactly what to release, exactly what to transform. You're not hoping it might happen. You're watching it occur in real time on the energetic plane. Now here's where most people sabotage the entire process without realizing it. They rush. They get impatient. They scrub for 30 seconds, say the words once, and pull their hands out thinking they're done. But the deep, energetic clearing you're after requires time. Keep your hands fully immersed in that water for at least 3 complete minutes. Set a timer if you need to, because 3 minutes can feel surprisingly long when you're just sitting in stillness. The salt needs this sustained contact to fully neutralize the old programming that's been building up for years, maybe decades. 3 isn't a random number. It represents completion and manifestation across numerology and virtually every spiritual tradition throughout human history. the Holy Trinity, the three stages of transformation, the triangle as the first stable geometric shape. By honoring this 3-minute minimum, you're aligning with deep archetypal patterns that your subconscious recognizes and responds to. This is the journey from surface action to profound internal shift, and it cannot be rushed without diminishing the impact significantly. Let yourself sink into these minutes, feeling the water temperature, noticing how your hands begin to tingle or feel lighter, staying present with the sensations rather than letting your mind wander to what you need to do next. If you're committing to honoring the full 3 minutes, write in the comments, "I give myself this sacred time." When those 3 minutes have passed, when you feel that shift in your hands, maybe a tingling sensation, maybe a sense of lightness, maybe just a quiet knowing that something has changed, it's time to complete this phase of the ritual. But even here, in what seems like the simple act of removing your hands from water, there's significance in how you do it. Lift your hands out slowly, with reverence, without shaking them off impatiently. Let the water drip back into the bowl naturally for a few seconds, watching those droplets fall. Each drop carries away more of the old energy you've just released. Now reach for a clean towel to dry your hands, and if you have a white towel available, use that. White represents purity, new beginnings, a blank canvas ready for fresh creation. As you pat your hands dry, don't rub aggressively, just gentle patting motions. Engage that powerful visualization faculty again. See your hands now glowing with brilliant golden light, as if they've been dipped in liquid sunshine. This isn't childish imagination. This is you impressing upon your subconscious the new energetic reality you've just created. Your hands are now radiating abundance, magnetism, attractive power that draws wealth toward you effortlessly. The final sealing gesture is what locks all of this work into place, what transforms a practice into a lasting transformation. Bring your hands together in front of your chest in prayer position, palms pressed firmly against each other. Feel the warmth there. Notice the energy pulsing between your palms. There's often a distinct heat or tingling sensation when you do this correctly, a tangible sign that you've activated something real. This isn't metaphorical. You're literally feeling the shift in your bioelectric field. With your hands positioned at your heart center, speak one final declaration that serves as the official seal on everything you've just accomplished. My hands are now open channels for wealth. Money reaches me in ways I expect and ways I don't. That last phrase is crucial because it acknowledges that abundance often arrives through unexpected doors, surprising opportunities, coincidences that aren't coincidences at all. You're giving the universe permission to deliver prosperity through any route it chooses, not limiting the flow to only the paths your logical mind can currently envision. This moment of sealing represents a sacred contract between you and the universal laws of abundance, a decision point where your old financial identity officially ends and your new prosperous reality begins taking form in the material world. If you can feel the warmth and energy between your palms right now, write in the comments, "The seal is complete." Now comes a step that's absolutely non-negotiable, one that people often overlook because they don't understand the mechanics of what's actually happened in that bowl. That water you've just used isn't neutral anymore. It's saturated with all the negative energy, scarcity programming, and financial stress you've just extracted from your hands. It's dense with everything you're leaving behind. You cannot, under any circumstances, just leave it sitting there or casually dump it anywhere without conscious intention. That would be like cleaning toxins out of your system and then storing them in your living room. If you have access to a yard or garden, the ideal action is to take that bowl outside and pour the water directly onto the earth. The ground has infinite capacity to transmute and neutralize negative energy. That's one of its primary functions in the natural order. As you pour, visualize the earth absorbing and transforming everything you've released. If you live in an apartment without yard access, pour the water down your drain, but do it with focused intention. See in your mind's eye all that scarcity, all that limitation, washing far away from your home, moving through the plumbing system and out into the collective water supply where it becomes diluted to complete insignificance. After disposing of the water, wash that bowl thoroughly and then designate it as special. From this moment forward, this bowl is reserved exclusively for your abundance rituals, not for cooking or regular household use. You're creating a sacred tool, and honoring it as such amplifies its effectiveness each time you use it. There's one more powerful technique that can dramatically accelerate your results, something I call creating an abundance anchor. Take a coin or a bill, doesn't matter the denomination, though something meaningful to you works best, and hold it tightly between both palms. Press your hands together with that money sandwiched between them for 1 full minute. As you hold it, imagine all that fresh, potent energy you've just activated in your hands flowing directly into that physical currency. See it, glowing, vibrating, becoming charged with prosperity consciousness. When the minute is complete, take that money and place it somewhere special in your home where it won't accidentally get spent. This isn't money for buying coffee. This is a seed, a declaration to the universe that says, "This is where wealth lives in my space." It becomes an energetic anchor point, a physical representation of your new financial reality that continuously broadcasts the frequency of abundance even when you're not actively thinking about it. If you're ready to create your abundance anchor, write in the comments, "My anchor is set." There's one final element that can multiply the effectiveness of everything you've just done, and it's so simple that people often dismiss it as too basic to matter. But Florence Scovel Shinn recognized gratitude as one of the chief spiritual laws governing manifestation, and she wasn't being poetic. She was describing actual mechanics. Grab a notebook or journal, something you can write in physically with your hand, and list 3 things you're genuinely grateful for today that involve money in any way. This doesn't need to be dramatic. You don't need to be thankful for winning the lottery or receiving an inheritance. Maybe you're grateful you could afford that warm meal today. Maybe you found unexpected change in your coat pocket. Maybe someone bought you coffee. Small things count, because gratitude isn't about the magnitude, it's about the frequency. When you express authentic appreciation for what you already have, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe that says, "I recognize abundance when it appears. I value it. I'm a good steward of prosperity." The universe responds to that signal by sending more things to be grateful for. It's a feedback loop, and gratitude is what initiates the cycle. Write those 3 things down with real feeling, not just going through motions. Let yourself actually feel the warmth of appreciation as you remember each one. Now I want to share something that might shift your entire perspective on what we've been doing here. The salt, the water, the specific words, the precise timing, these are all powerful tools, absolutely. But they're not where the magic actually lives. The real magic, the genuine transformative power, exists inside you and has been there your entire life. You were born with an innate ability to create success, to attract abundance, to manifest joy and prosperity. That's your natural state, your divine birthright as a human being with consciousness and creative power. What happens over the years is that this natural brilliance gets covered over with layers of conditioning, limiting beliefs, fear-based programming, and scarcity thinking absorbed from family, culture, and painful experiences. The ritual we've just walked through, the salt acts like a spiritual detergent, clearing away that accumulated clutter so your inherent light can finally shine through unobstructed. You're not gaining some new ability you never had. You're remembering and reclaiming what was always yours, removing the barriers that have been blocking your natural flow. This is the journey from feeling powerless to recognizing yourself as the primary creative force in your own life, and that shift in self-perception changes absolutely everything about how you move through the world. If you're recognizing the power that's always been within you, write in the comments, "I am the magic." Here's something critical that separates those who experience genuine life transformation from those who try this once and wonder why nothing changed. The ritual itself is just the beginning, the ignition point. The real power emerges in how you show up in the days and weeks that follow. You've just reset your energetic channels, cleared the blockages, activated your hands as abundance magnets. Now you need to remain alert and receptive to what starts showing up in response to that shift. Pay close attention to what might seem like random coincidences in the coming days. An old friend calls you unexpectedly. A business idea keeps popping into your mind at odd moments. You overhear a conversation that contains exactly the information you needed. A job posting appears that seems almost too perfectly aligned with your skills. These aren't accidents. This is the universe responding to your new frequency, knocking on your door with opportunities. The hidden truth most people miss is that manifestation doesn't usually arrive as a lightning bolt from the sky. It shows up as synchronicities, as doors cracking open, as possibilities presenting themselves in surprisingly mundane ways. Your responsibility, your part in this co-creative dance with the universe, is to notice these signals and then take action on them. Don't let fear or self-doubt talk you out of making that phone call, submitting that application, starting that project, or reaching out to that contact. Fear will always have 1,000 logical reasons why you should wait, why you're not ready, why it probably won't work anyway. But Florence Scovel Shinn understood that the game of life is a game of boomerangs. What you throw out comes back to you. When the universe throws you an opportunity, you have to catch it and throw action back. The specific timing of December 28th carries particular significance that amplifies everything we've discussed. You're performing this ritual at a threshold moment, positioned right at the edge between the ending of one year and the beginning of another. Think about what that means energetically. You're clearing away old patterns, releasing accumulated scarcity consciousness, purifying your channels right before a fresh calendar year begins. You're essentially sweeping your energetic house clean before new possibilities rush in with January. This positions you powerfully for 12 full months of different results, because you're starting from a completely reset foundation rather than carrying forward the same limiting beliefs and blocked energy that created last year's struggles. The journey from where you've been to where you're going requires this kind of intentional clearing at key transition points. If you understand the importance of taking action when opportunities appear, write in the comments, "I will walk through the doors." Florence Scovel Shinn revealed something profoundly uncomfortable but absolutely true when she wrote that what we condemn in others, we attract to ourselves. Think about how often you've judged wealthy people as greedy or corrupt, or resented those who seem to have financial ease while you struggle. Every time you harbor that resentment, every time you criticize someone else's prosperity, you're energetically pushing wealth away from yourself. You're essentially telling the universe, money is bad, rich people are wrong, and then wondering why abundance avoids you. This hand-washing ritual does something deeper than surface cleaning. It's washing away judgment, dissolving resentment, purging the scarcity thinking that's been poisoning your relationship with money. When your hands are truly clean on this energetic level, they become pure instruments of both giving and receiving, operating without the blockage of jealousy or the resistance of moral superiority. You can finally touch money, handle transactions, and engage with prosperity without that invisible coating of negativity that's been sabotaging you. The behind-the-scenes transformation happening here works through one of the most powerful mechanisms available to human consciousness: subconscious programming. Shinn understood this when she taught that the subconscious mind accepts whatever blueprint you give it and then manifests that blueprint into physical form. Your subconscious doesn't argue, doesn't question, doesn't judge whether your beliefs are true or false. It simply accepts what you impress upon it and goes to work, making that pattern real in your life. This is why the hand-washing ritual carries such extraordinary impact. You're not just performing a one-time action. You're creating a visceral sensory experience that impresses deeply into your subconscious the new truth that you are worthy of wealth, that your hands are channels for abundance, that money flows to you naturally and easily. Every time you performed this ritual with full presence and intention, you carved that new blueprint a little deeper into your subconscious programming. But here's what makes this particularly brilliant. Your hands are involved in hundreds of actions every single day. Every time you touch something, every handshake, every time you handle money or type on a keyboard or open a door, there's now a subconscious association linking back to that moment when you declared yourself open to prosperity. Your hands become constant, automatic reminders of your new financial identity, reinforcing the transformation throughout your daily life without requiring any conscious effort. This is the journey from a single ritual to a lasting shift in your fundamental relationship with money, and it happens through the elegant mechanics of repetition and sensory anchoring. If you're understanding how deeply this reprograms your relationship with wealth, write in the comments, "My blueprint is changing." Florence Scovel Shinn held an unshakable conviction that's both comforting and challenging to truly embrace. She believed that our supply is inexhaustible and unfailing when we fully trust it. Not partially trust it, not trust it when things are going well, but completely unconditionally trust that the universe has infinite resources available and wants nothing more than to deliver them through you. Your clean, energized hands now represent those open channels for divine supply to flow through without restriction or interference. Think about what this means for your daily interactions moving forward. Every handshake you give isn't just a social courtesy, it's a potential transmission of abundance energy. Every financial transaction you engage in, whether you're paying bills or receiving payment, becomes an opportunity for prosperity to circulate through you. Every gesture you make with these newly activated hands is broadcasting your receptivity to wealth. You've transformed ordinary physical appendages into sacred instruments of manifestation, and that shift changes the entire energetic quality of how you move through the world. The universe has been trying to deliver abundance to you all along, but the channels were clogged, the frequency was jammed, the pathways were blocked by years of accumulated fear and scarcity programming. Now those channels are open, clear, receptive. But there's one final element that seals this entire transformation and makes it official in the spiritual realm. You need to make a declaration, a formal announcement to the universe that you are ready, that you are claiming what's yours. This is your moment to make that pact. Declare in the comments right now, "I receive the abundance I deserve." Not, "I hope for," or "I wish," or "maybe someday," but "I receive." Present tense, definitive, final. Florence Scovel Shinn knew with absolute certainty that the imaging faculty is the creative faculty, and that's why choosing your words with precision matters so profoundly. The words you speak and write aren't just communication, they're creative acts that shape reality itself. When you type that declaration, you're not asking permission. You're not begging or pleading. You're simply stating a fact, claiming your divine inheritance, announcing to every force in the universe that you are finally ready to receive every good thing that's been waiting for you. This is the decision point where your old identity dissolves and your new prosperous self steps fully into existence. And the impact of this single declaration ripples out into every area of your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. If you're ready to make this declaration official, write in the comments, "I receive the abundance I deserve." The transformation you've initiated on December 28th isn't meant to be a one-time event that you perform and forget about. Think of it as planting a garden. The initial planting is crucial, but the garden needs tending to truly flourish. I recommend repeating this full ritual weekly, and Friday evening is particularly powerful because you're setting your abundance frequency for the weekend and the week ahead. Whenever you notice financial stress starting to build again, whenever you catch yourself slipping back into scarcity thinking, that's your signal to return to this practice and reset your channels. But here's a beautiful technique for maintaining this energy between your weekly rituals. Every single time you wash your hands throughout your normal day, after using the bathroom, before meals, after working, take just 3 seconds to remember that golden light. See it briefly filling your hands as the water runs over them. You're turning ordinary hand washing into a mini abundance reset, a microdose of that powerful clearing and activation you experienced in the full ritual. This keeps your energy consistently clear and receptive rather than letting blockages slowly rebuild over days and weeks. Your hands are touching things constantly, absorbing energy from everything and everyone around you. This simple practice of remembering the golden light each time you wash them becomes an automatic maintenance system, effortlessly keeping your channels open without requiring elaborate setups or extended time commitments. It's the difference between letting your energy slowly deteriorate until you need another major clearing versus maintaining optimal flow continuously. Everything you've learned here, the complete ritual, the spiritual principles behind why it works, the specific action steps, these aren't just interesting concepts to file away. This is a complete system for transforming your relationship with money at the deepest level. Florence Scovel Shinn left us with wisdom that cuts through every excuse and rationalization when she declared that you will continue to experience failure until you finally impress upon your subconscious the absolute conviction that you are a success. That's what December 28th represents for you. The day you make that impression, the moment you stop living as someone who struggles financially and start embodying the identity of someone for whom abundance flows naturally. Your hands become the physical instruments of this transformation, the tangible tools through which your new prosperity consciousness expresses itself in the material world. The universe has infinite resources ready and waiting. The only question that remains, the only thing standing between your current reality and the abundant life you deserve, is whether you're truly ready to claim it. If you're committed to maintaining this energy and walking this path of prosperity, write in the comments, "My transformation has begun." If you've stayed with me through this entire journey, I want to acknowledge that. It means something. Most people click away after the first minute, but you're still here, and that tells me you're genuinely ready for change. That readiness, that willingness to invest your time and attention in your own transformation is already setting you apart. I create content like this regularly, diving deep into spiritual principles, abundance practices, and the hidden mechanics of manifestation that actually work. If this resonated with you, if you found real value here, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. I promise to keep showing up with content that serves your growth, that honors your intelligence, and that gives you practical tools for creating the life you deserve. And let me know you made it all the way through by writing in the comments, "This message was meant for me." When I see that, I'll know we connected, and it helps me understand what content serves you best so I can create more of what you actually need. If this video sparked something in you, if you felt that shift of possibility, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a small gesture, but it helps this message reach others who need it just as much as you did. Before you go, there's another video right here that takes this conversation even deeper. It explores the next layer of abundance work, and I think you're going to find it incredibly valuable. Click and continue with me over there. Your journey doesn't end here. This is just the beginning.